Hello, this is Pastor Phil Vickers from First Lutheran in Mission Hills, Kansas. Wanted to talk for a few moments this morning about the idea of spiritual disciplines, and to get around to talking about that, I wanted to share two experiences I've had, particularly around the discipline of worship. One, in seminary, we had a weekly contemplative prayer service. And at this service, Pastor John Largen, the pastor of the seminary community, would read a scripture, and then there'd be 10 minutes of silence, and then a closing prayer, and that was the whole service. And I made a discipline of going to that, not every week, but quite often, because it helped me have a barometer into how I was doing in my head, in my heart, in my spiritual journey. The weeks where everything was going well, that 10 minutes flew by. I thought about the reading. I reflected on it. I was present with it. And then there were weeks where things weren't going as well, when I was thinking about everything except what the Bible reading had said. My head was full of anxious, worried thoughts, and all I was thinking is, how do I get out of here? And so knowing that helped me to know that I needed to take some time to unplug, to do the things that give me energy, so that I can get to a place where I could be worth something to someone. It helped me to know where I was, and that taught me, that we can be quite unaware of how we're doing. If we're going from one task to the next, we can be unaware of how we are, and so we need to check in with ourselves from time to time and say, how are you doing? And if the answer isn't positive, then we know we have work to do to get to a better place, however that works for us. Another experience I'd like to share was I used to be part of an interdenominational Lutheran group called the Society of the Holy Trinity. And they would get together for these retreats where what you do is for 3 days in a row, you would worship 4 times a day. You'd pray in matins, sing matins first thing in the morning. There'd be noonday prayer before lunch. Then there'd be Vespers, which is prayer around dinner time, and then Compline, prayer before bed. All those services are in our hymnal. We don't get to use them very much because we're rarely in the position where we're together all day like that. And you sign up for something like that, and you think, gosh, is that just going to be the most terrible, boring thing you've ever gone through? I still remember those days as being some of the most meaningful I've lived. The experience of a day that is completely anchored and centered in worship is like no other. If you ever see a retreat going on that's doing something like that, I strongly recommend you to go. It can be life-changing. Those days are just wonderful. So both of those experiences sort of have helped me to glean an understanding that has informed my personal spiritual journey and also has informed how I tend to come to my work as a pastor. And at first it sounds like a downer, but I assure you it's really not, because it's the first step to overcoming the problem. But the realization of how fickle we are as people. I'm not pointing a finger. I'm exactly this way too. But we're fickle, we're forgetful, and we're easily distracted. We can sit in church on Sunday and be uplifted, full of the Spirit, inspired to be a disciple, and then by 9:30 on Monday morning, it's like we are not Christians. It's like that faith isn't part of our lives at all. We have to acknowledge that we're not spiritual superheroes. We can't sit in church on a Sunday, be inspired, be uplifted, and expect that to carry us for a week or until the next time we're in church. Expect that to make a difference for us until the next time we come in the sanctuary. We need things like a Wednesday time in Bible study. We need a Thursday afternoon call to a Christian friend so we can share our joys and struggles and hear theirs. We need a Tuesday night time of prayer. We need all these disciplines because otherwise we forget. It's just the case. It's just the truth. Don't feel bad about it, but acknowledge it and then do what's necessary to keep it from happening. And also, the world is very distracting. We have all kinds of other things to do that don't have anything to do with the faith, and they can eat up all our energy and all our time if we let them. That's why the spiritual disciplines are important. So that's something I have really seen to be true over the years for myself and for those around me. And so when you think of spiritual disciplines, think of them in that way as sort of these necessary pieces of our faith life. Necessary because they remind us at regular intervals of what's most important, about what is worth our time and energy, and what teaches us how to live. Um, so, just a few thoughts about spiritual discipline today. I certainly hope that you make worship, prayer, Bible study, fellowship, all these things a part of your daily, weekly habits and plans, because we need it, people. We need it, and it greatly elevates our joy and our experience of God when we do those things. So, good to talk to you, and we'll see you soon.